Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
How'd I do?
Great if you're not looking at the clock.
Sure you got that? I had to be faster than that, right?
100% NOS, zero sugar coating.
No.
New NOS, zero sugar. Get after it.
Welcome back to Dervision, live on the Sage Fruit stage from Houston Speedway, kicking off the Billion Auto High Bank Nationals week here at Houston's. Connor Wade, Shawn Neisteadt hosting this pre-race coverage for you. We just got done talking to one of our Kevin Dobrik Rookie of the Year contenders in the form of Landon Crawley, and we have another one joining us on stage now, Bill Balog, driver of the 17B, a rookie who's been really impressive on the tour this year. Bill, good afternoon. How's life for Bill Balog?
Oh, yeah, it's going pretty good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Let's talk about this week here at Houston's for you. $100,000 to win Thursday, $250,000 to win on Saturday. For somebody like you, you drive for yourself, you own your own equipment. How much of an impact can money like that have to the bank account?
Yeah, no, it's huge. You know, I think part of it is just trying to, you know, get qualified good. You know, all the things that you got to do. But yeah, just big money here on the line. Hopefully, you know, I think this track, I've been here before a few times, and it's one of those places kind of like, you know, we don't come here very often, but I think it suits our style probably a little bit more than some of the other racetracks. So, yeah, you never know what can happen. You know, I think we got a pretty good package, and yeah, hopefully we can get some of that money.
You've been on the big stage of sprint car racing throughout your entire career. Is there anything for you like this, though, competing in a race that pays $250,000 to win and then $100,000 to win in the same week?
No, I mean, it's, yeah, we've, you know, we don't get to race for that kind of money very often. So, yeah, like I said, I think, you know, we've got a pretty good shot, just like some of the other big teams. But, you know, we're a smaller team, but we seem to be running, you know, halfway decent. And like I said, just, yeah, looking forward to it all.
How nice is it to get back to this part of the country where you're based when early on in the season, when you're going down there to Florida, you are so far away from Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, this is a good, you know, stretch here for us. To be home during the week, you know, I'm trying to move into a different shop right now, so there's a lot going on back at home. So, yeah, just, you know, I think we crashed a car, I can't even remember now, a couple weeks ago, and kind of put a dampener on everything. It takes a long time to get all that, you know, just me and another guy kind of do all that stuff. So, yeah, just, it's nice to be home, you know, Cedar Lake next week, and then, you know, still back at home the following week. So, yeah, that's huge. And even, you know, for me, based out of the lower Wisconsin area, even some of those, you know, further away areas, you can still kind of get home. It's actually not too bad for us.
So much success running with the IRA, ran so well with the All-Stars, and then this year comes along. What went into that decision to dive right in, go full-time, go out there and be a rookie with the greatest show on dirt?
Yeah, I just kind of decided to do it. Last year, we didn't run for any points, and we're able to, you know, just learn a few things that I think we really needed to learn. You know, we've always been on some type of traveling series, and it's hard to really figure the car out, which is what I'm super into. Is I just like working on the car, and I might not look like I like working on it when I'm doing it, but I really do enjoy it and trying to figure out the car throughout the night. So last year we kind of figured a few things out that I think maybe we're missing or whatever, and yeah, I thought, because last year we had a couple quick times with the World of Outlaws, which is, you know, that's like winning a feature, in my opinion. It's very difficult to do, and yeah, there was just some, you know, some positive things that were happening, and yeah, I just decided, I really didn't ask, I really didn't ask anybody. I just kind of signed up, and I figured with Anderson's maple syrup and some of the other sponsors, you know, they were pretty cool with it, so decided to do it. Yeah.
Is this a tour you want to be on for the foreseeable future? Do you see yourself staying with the Outlaws for 4 or 5 years, maybe even more?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting older, but I'd like to do it for a few years for sure. You know, and then maybe you know, hire a driver or something when I get too old. But yeah, I definitely want to do this for a while.
As you travel up and down the road with this series, what's been the biggest adjustment to this life? Because you said you've been on the road, you've been a tour driver for a long time. What's the hardest part about the world of Outlaws?
I think it's just I kind of waited a little bit to sign up. I kind of should have decided to do that a little bit earlier. I normally am good for, crashing a car about once every, 30 races or something like that, I think is historically how that goes. And now I've already done a couple, and just trying to get caught up on all that stuff. It's just a steady work, and I don't really get days off. But, it keeps me out of trouble.
Let's look at your numbers to this point of the season. I've got it in front of me. 6 top 5s, 15 top 10s, 2 second-place finishes. Are you happy with those numbers to this point of the season? Do you really think about, I've only been on the podium twice, I need a couple more. Do you think about that at all? And are you happy with, how you've performed to this point in the year?
Yeah, I mean, these races, if you go to them and you make the main, let's say, and you could get lapped in 5 laps. I mean, and it happened to me probably this year already. It's happened to me a bunch of times. You could have a good heat race finish, start up towards the front, and it'd be 20th on the 5th lap. I mean, they'll just send you right to the rear, the Outlaws will. So I'm happy with those numbers. I want to win. I think I can, but I'm like I said, it's our expectations were probably a little bit lower, to be honest with you. So definitely happy with that.
The 2 tracks you've been on the podium at, I believe both 3/8 miles or somewhere around there. Hewsett's a smaller track, just over a 1/4 mile. When I think of Bill Balog, I don't really think there's a specific track type that I think of you being really good at. You seem to be good at the quarters, the 3/8 and the half miles. Is there a certain track size that you prefer?
I'm probably a smaller track. The smaller, probably the better. And I like the big racetracks too. But yeah, definitely, I think Hewsett's probably fits our style, like I said. And I don't know. We seem to have something figured out for those 1/4 and 3/8 miles as far as our car package. Half miles were a little bit tougher on, but hopefully we can get there later in the year.
Is there one thing, if you could travel back in time and say, Bill Balog is heading out for that first season with the IRA, and now knowing what you know now, what would you go back and tell yourself to do differently?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't really know how to answer that. There's, being from where I'm from, the sprint cars aren't that big, and the knowledge, to be honest, is just not there. Where if you were born in Pennsylvania and your dad raced in Pennsylvania or something, the knowledge is kind of already there, and so I think I would have probably just moved sooner, and probably, I think I took quite a few risks when I was younger to get here, but I probably would have taken more and maybe jumped on the tour a little earlier.
Is that say something about your personality to try to push yourself even further, even running this year with the Outlaws? You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of where do you want to be in life, and what do you want to do? And I've always wanted to run with the World of Outlaws.
Let's look at the next couple of tracks on the schedule. Cedar Lake next week in your home area, your home state. Back to Beaver Dam after that. Wilmot that later on that weekend. Do you look at those 3 tracks and think, all right, it's time to finally get that first win of the season?
I think we've learned a lot, like I said earlier, and Cedar Lake. I mean, I love Cedar Lake. I think it's similar, size to this track, and we seem to run okay at Beaver Dam and Wilmot. So, yeah, I mean, if there's a time to do it, it's probably coming up here the next couple weeks.
What's the plan for the off weekend? Or we're off after Cedar Lake, in between Cedar Lake and Beaver Dam, kind of for 4th of July. So, are you going to be in the shop? Are you going to the beach? What's the plan for the Balog family?
I'm probably just going to work. Yeah, probably move and work at the shop there and just try to catch up a little bit. We got another car we got to build, and we should probably order another frame and start working on that. So yeah, I think it's pretty much never ending.
You mentioned you don't have a 5, 6, 7 person crew. It's 2 of you. How hard is it coming into a 4-day race week like this, where it's going to be consecutive nights of racing and maintenance and racing and maintenance, and there's so much on the line? Yeah,
I think one of the things about this, well, first we got to just keep the car in one piece, and I know you can't do that all the time, but I remember coming here years ago, and the straightaways are really narrow, and I ended up upside down and ruined the engine at the same time. So it really sucked, and it can happen in just a split second. So I got to, you know, kind of just watch my left front and make sure I don't get it run over or whatever. And then if we can just do the maintenance, I mean, that's kind of the easy part. It's getting the spare car down and doing all that kind of stuff. We're kind of not super set up for that right now. So yeah, we definitely need a week off.
That's a tough mentality to be out there on the racetrack, as Connor mentioned, paying your own bills, running your own car, it's your own equipment. So how much does that weigh on your mind? We know the world of Outlaws and how aggressive the racing is, but at the other time, you got to be thinking, I don't really want to get car number 2 out for the day.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I kind of like to think some of the other drivers think the same way. I mean, you got to finish the race, but yeah, I don't need to be upside down in the next couple weeks, so I'm still going to try as hard as I can, but yeah.
You have tore up a little bit of equipment this year. Had a really bad wreck at River Cities a couple of weeks ago. I believe one of your crew guys told me it broke the motor plate in the car and damaged the frame and several components as well. You've had a couple of weeks around home kind of, you know, to fix it and stuff. Is your equipment, both the primary and the backup car, is everything at 100% for you guys right now?
The backup's not. That's the car we ran at Ogilvy, and I just didn't. I don't like it at all. But it's a car and it does run, so you know, you can get us the points if we need it. But and then I just got my spare engine back right before I left, and I didn't bring it with. I have one spare engine, but the spare car doesn't have a spare engine. So yeah, we can't just pull a car down right now, but we could get one together for the following day.
Well, it was great talking to you, Bill. Appreciate it. Good luck this week. We'll be right back here on Dirt Vision after this quick commercial break. When we come back, a 7-time winner with the Outlaws in 2024 will be with us on the stage.
I have a 2014 Toyota Tundra Crew Max pickup with 152,000 miles. The truck started losing some power on inclines and running rougher than normal. Having Seafoam high mileage to fuel helped restore power back to what it was. The engine smoothed out as well. Happy customer with good results.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to SeafoamWorks.com.
It's a moment of transformation when humans become heroes and training gives way to instinct. In that moment, senses are heightened to new levels. Every sound, every breath, every second that can mean the difference between life and death. Determination is matched only by empathy for those who need you most. In that moment, you need a tool that rises to the challenge. Simple, rugged, reliable. Amcus Rescue Systems, built for the moment.
Hey Tony, now that you're driving in straight lines, you should try one of these. It will help you turn left again.
Well, Donnie, you should try one of these. Just like the lights, when it turns green, mash the gas. You might win another championship.
The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite.
There are a number of outcomes that we want students to achieve after they complete a career technical education program. One of the first outcomes is to have employability skills. We start as early as the elementary division where students are exposed. We allow students in the middle division to explore, and we want students in the senior division to practice. The opportunity to practice those skills throughout the course of their high school career is critical.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
You spend thousands of hours on the road.
Can he do it again?
Feel hundreds of horses under the hood. But every race, lap, and victory you get starts at 0. New NOS, zero sugar. Zero sugar, 100% NOS, get after it.
Get ready for fireworks on and off the track. Cedar Lake Speedway. The World of Outlaws NOS energy drink sprint cars are coming to town on Friday and Saturday, June 28th and 29th for the pre-Independence Day Spectacular. It'll be 2 nights of can't miss sprint car action and a huge fireworks show. Tickets at worldofoutlaws.com. Gates open at 5 p.m. Be there.
Welcome back to the Sage Fruit Stage. It's Race Day Live outside of Houston Speedway, presented by Dirt Vision, as we get set to go for the first of 4 consecutive nights of racing. Not a lot of people know what it's like to win 6 figures here at Houston Speedway, but this man does. How about it, fans? Sheldon Haudenschild in the house tonight. First off, Sheldon, how you feeling?
Way better. Got the old strep throat last Saturday at Knoxville and had a rough couple days. Saturday was tough and ended up going to the ER on Sunday just to get a couple bags of fluid, and yeah, just been resting.
I think that's something that a lot of people, we can forget when we're not out there doing what you do for a living. If I'm sick, I call the real job and say, hey, I'm not coming in today. You guys don't have that option. You've got to go perform.
Yeah, no sick days in this. This is actually the second time this year. I raced Eldora with 101 fever, and I had 101.5 fever last Saturday, and it's not fun, I can tell you that. And yeah, you just do what you got to do and get through and get her done.
I believe you've won 3 of the last 8 races is the number. It was 3 of the last 6 going into Knoxville this past weekend. But you've told me all season long you really believe that you're a top 3 car on this tour and a top 3 car in the country. Just some bad luck early on in the year with motors and stuff like that. Do you feel like the last month or so you've finally proven to everybody, not just to yourself, that you truly are a top 3 car in this country just with the way you've knocked off wins?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you just go back and look at the races, you know, Volusia, we blew up and probably would have ran 5th or whatever, and then leading US 36, and I get into the back of a guy, running 2nd at Chillicothe, and I get in the back of a guy, or get in the wall, and yeah, I think all of our competitors have known it, but you know, sometimes the fans or people outside of it don't really understand it. But yeah, I think we've proven it. I think winning is proven it, and we've done that the second most. So yeah, just looking to win more.
Shawn mentioned you won the very first running of the High Bank Nationals in 2022, $100,000 to win, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's still the richest win in terms of payout of your career. When there's that much money on the line, do you change the way you race at all? Do you change your driving style?
No, not really. I feel like, honestly, when we won that, I think we were in a solid points position, and you know, points racing, I think, more changes your mindset than money in a sense. So you know, 250,000 might change it a little bit, but I mean, I don't think any of us are going to go dirty somebody up and crash anybody. I mean, that's the last thing we want to do. So you know, I want to win these races clean and respectable.
This weekend, though, you don't have to worry about those season points. It's all about coming in and getting that money. Is that a little bit relaxing? I mean, you're not going to go out there yawning with $250,000 on the line.
Well, I think, and like we've talked about it earlier this year, you know, I think just myself, I've been behind on points kind of since Florida, so I haven't really had to worry about it. So I've kind of, you know, raced not worrying about points all year, as to where David and the 41 and, you know, the 15, they're always points racing. And, you know, so I think my mentality is probably still just the same kind of deal we've been doing. Just go try and win. And, yeah, so same thing for us here. I think, you know, for the other guys, it is hard to get the points racing out of your head when you've been stuck doing that.
When you come back here to Houston, it's where you picked up that $100,000 win a couple years ago. Do you replay that moment through your mind, the white flag lap, and you go from third to first going down into turn one?
Not really. I really don't think about it. I've obviously seen it this week because everybody's been sharing it a bunch, but in the moment it was insane. I remember passing James in the 11 and just thinking, what just happened? Like, I think that was still the last craziest 4 or 5 laps. I think I came from 6th or whatever, and honestly, I shouldn't have won that race, and we did. So, just 2022 was just wild.
When people think of Sheldon Haudenschild, they think of a guy, and I'm going to use a phrase that my good friend Dean Mills uses quite a bit. They think of a guy that gives 110% of the time, a guy that will do anything to try and win a race, a guy that really just throws it all on the table and just gives it his all. Do you embrace being that badass guy that will do whatever it takes to want to win races, as opposed to a guy like a Donnie Schatz who will say, okay, I'm content running third in this race if it'll save me in points? I don't feel like that's really Sheldon. You want to win all the time. Do you embrace being that guy?
I mean, yeah, I don't not embrace it. I want to win no matter what, and I never want to give up. I think a lot of our wins have like you said, come from usually a bad night the night before and win the next night, and that's just hats off to a great team that I have, and honestly, Ripper, I think a lot of mechanics probably wouldn't want to be my guy just because of kind of my style, and I've torn some stuff up, which whatever, but we win a lot of races. So at the end of the day, I want to put marks in the book and just keep climbing that list.
I think Kyle Ripper's incredible. I think ever since you and him got together, you've improved and matured a ton as a driver and been really consistent, and you guys have won some really, really good races together. How huge is Kyle Ripper for your career right now?
Yeah, I don't think people realize really Kyle at all and know him at all. He's to himself, and when he's not, he's not. But he's honestly the hardest worker I know, and he'll outwork anybody in any situation. And a lot of people don't know it. At Jackson Nationals, he busted his whole front teeth out of his mouth, and he still showed up to work the next day. And since day one, I've known him since 2009, working for my dad, and he came to work for me for no money, and we've won local shows together and our biggest races ever together. So I wouldn't be here without Ripper, and very appreciative of him.
You come into a show like this week, do you have to go out with any kind of different game plan or mentality with such a different format, points on the line whenever you're on the track to set that championship feature lineup?
And honestly, not really. I don't even honestly know the format. So, I kind of just go do my qualifying laps, see where they line us up, and just go forward from there.
I always love your story, too, about your career, starting out, eating the dollar menu, going out there and to get to this point. So how much of it, we've had 2 Rookie of the Year candidates on the show here tonight. What would you tell them looking back on your early days on the tour?
Man, I don't know. I think just don't stop working. I feel like, obviously my dad is who he is, but we did it with no money, and I mean no money. We counted every dollar, figured out how much fuel we needed, and worked everything out to a T. And I think the biggest thing was just being organized. I think my dad was good at that, and then I think I have a problem and got really good at it. And just organizing everything in your whole life, and especially your race team. Just I think organization truly wins races, and I think I learned that when I was starting out.
Whenever you were a rookie on the tour, it was the family car of the '93, and I believe your second year on tour is whenever you got in the SJMR 17, where you've got Ricky and the Marshalls, but also probably one of the most successful and long-standing driver-sponsor partnerships in the history of sprint car racing between yourself and NOS. How grateful are you now to have that stability and have such great people behind you?
Yeah,
not that you didn't before, but now you've had it for a consistent amount of time.
Yeah, very grateful, and that's what it takes. And early in my career, I had Southern Pacific Farms that believed in me and got me to that point. So very grateful for them. And then obviously Ricky, I'll never forget getting the call from Ricky, and I was living in my parents' basement, and he said, "Hey, do you want to drive my car?" And I didn't hesitate at all. It was, yeah, whatever we got to do, I'll do it. And then I didn't really even realize at the time the whole Neisteadt energy drink thing and getting in, to be a part of that family and how much that would have helped my career. And pretty cool to look back. My dad was with Pennzoil for 9 years. And, when I told Ricky, I don't think we're going to beat any of these guys if you only have a 5-year plan. I think, honestly, you need at least a 10-year plan here of, if you want to win these championships and races. And, I think having Ricky there, he understands it from the NASCAR side, and, success just doesn't happen. So super grateful for the whole Neisteadt family. Obviously, Richard and Jennifer have been great to me. Even back on the 93 car, they helped me out too. So, I just have a whole group that believes in me and Ripper, and nothing makes you feel better than that.
You mentioned a long-term plan to try to win championships. Do you want to be an Outlaw champion? Is that something that, obviously everybody that's on this tour wants to be, but how high is that on your bucket list?
Yeah, obviously that's the main goal, and it's not easy, obviously, and I still feel young. I'm 30 years old, and I look at how long Sammy and Steve raced, and I want to race that long. So longevity is probably my #1 goal, and then I want to win championships, and obviously want to win a ton of races. So I got to pass my dad on the all-time list at like 72, and we're working on it.
You've notched, 7 of them this season yourself. What is the goal on a big weekend like this? When you look at the money, it's solid throughout the field, but of course, 250 or 100,000, that gets the headlines.
Yeah, I only got one goal. It's win this week, and we want to come out of here and make the money and take the trophy.
When the fans come up to you afterwards as well, you're known to be that guy that takes the risks. How cool is it at the end of the night to have the fans behind you? One of the coolest moments in my career, I was at the Kings Royal last year, and I think you were starting 3rd, and I said your name and heard like 23,000 people cheer. That's got to be cool night in, night out.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I honestly have the best fans out there. The support they show at the T-shirt trailer and online, it means a lot, honestly. Like, the internet can be pretty brutal, and the Haud Nation stands up for any of the hate. So it's pretty awesome to see, and very appreciative of all of them.
I don't think I realized until I came on the tour this year just how many times your dad does come to the races. I've seen him, not at every race, but he's at quite a few, and I've gotten to talk with him quite a bit. Do you enjoy having him at the races? And he was really involved at night in Attica whenever you were in the work area. But what's your relationship with him whenever he's at the track and you're racing?
Man, I don't know. It's kind of changed over the years. I always used to love having him there, and then I kind of was like, you'd be better off just watching at home and, not getting in Ripper's head, and kind of just let us do our thing. And he gets nervous half the time and just sits in the trailer anyways. So, but I do like having him there if we win and we can come get our picture. But he makes me almost more nervous when he shows up. I don't know. So 50-50 on that one.
Well, Sheldon, best of luck to you this week. You're a ton of fun. Houston's is a good racetrack, and I've watched the replay 100 times that you went in that race and 22 on the last lap. So create some more special moments for us.
Yeah, hopefully we get a new replay here.
All right, how about it for Sheldon Haudenschild, always a fan favorite.
We'll be back to the Sage Fruit stage for more Race Day Live right after this.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep. Grit, glory, bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors,
And pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family-owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that.
The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Neisteadt Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples,
but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite. When you're an outlaw, racing is a way of life. We embrace life on the road, the good and the bad, and all the nights in between. But the best part of being an outlaw for 28 years has been sharing this life with my family and our fans. It's because of you that I'm proud to be forever an outlaw.
The 10-time champion from Fargo, North Dakota.
Pick up our latest gear at the track near you or from my online store at store.donnieshots.com.
Ready to rise? To the challenge? Above obstacles. Yes! Above perceptions.
Ruttiger implements the pass on the top lane.
Above it all. If so, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
This copyrighted Dirt Vision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
Welcome back to Dirt Vision live from the Sage Fruit stage at Huset's. I'm Connor Wade alongside Shawn Neisteadt, who will be alongside John Gibson in the booth this week. And we're joined by the quickest chicken on the stage now, a guy that, Huset's regular fans are used to seeing at the track, Chase Randall. Chase, what's your mindset heading into such a big week against truly the best competition in sprint car racing right now?
I think it's really good. I'm really excited to, be here to race for such big money, and for having a good year so far and been really fast each time we come to Huset's this year. So, I feel like this is one of my my better tracks. It's it's up on the wheel and high banked and close racing. So I feel like I perform really well here, and with with the right opportunities and everything kind of works out, we can be in contention for sure.
It's easy to think that the guys that run here on a weekly basis have an advantage over the guys that don't, the full-time Outlaws and such. But, we saw Knoxville last week where a lot of the local guys kind of struggled, to be honest. So do people sometimes kind of take for granted how much that weekly experience really pays off whenever you're racing against the best of the best?
Sometimes I think so, but I think it just shows you how good the Outlaws are. And when they come to your tracks like that, it kind of gives you a real test of kind of where your program stacks up and where you need to improve on. And I think that really helped us out last week at Knoxville. But, I think just from my experiences at Huset's last year and so far this year, for our team, I think we can compete really well, up front. And, we've learned a lot this year so far with kind of the rule changes this year with the wicker bills and stuff like that. And I think it should, give us a good shot for this one.
You've had a lot of speed so far this year, but a tough night at Knoxville, the crash. You feeling okay after that?
Yeah, I feel great. All my safety equipment performed really well and did everything it was supposed to. And, for a big crash like that, I walked away with nothing at all, really, just a little burn on my chin, which is pretty much gone now. And, the next day woke up feeling, no soreness in my body at all. So now I was ready to go, a few days after that.
Thank goodness. When you come in here to Huset's last year, I think it was a season opener. You hadn't run a wing car here before, and you end the night in Victory Lane. Does that give you the confidence going into a big week like this that you can get around this racetrack with great speed?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And it kind of just helped out a lot for that whole year. I feel like it really kind of kicked me off and got me a lot of confidence through that. And we were able to pick up a few more as well. Towards that, and it just, like as a driver, it really helps out because, kind of once that starts, then it kind of gives you, a lot more confidence going to that next one, and it just makes it a little bit easier and kind of shows you everything you need to do to, make that one happen more. And, like I said, being here, racing here a lot, it helps to show that, and I think, it'll really give us a good shot to hopefully get one this weekend.
I remember the first time I met you. I think it goes back to the micro days at Southern Illinois Raceway when I was announcing Wheatley, and you came there to run the Hustle and the Sprag and some of the big shows. And man, you progressed really, really quickly. You got right into 360 sprint cars, a little bit of midget stuff in between out of the micros, and then the last year or two into 410s. And you're only 19. In your opinion, has it kind of even surprised yourself just how quickly you've risen through the ranks over the years?
I think a little bit, but I just want it really, really bad, and racing all this good competition that's what our goal was, to race with the best of the best, and I think that's what makes you better, and I really think that's shown the past couple of years ever since then, and just makes me a better driver then, and hopefully for the future as well.
I know originally you're from Waco, Texas. You don't still live in Texas, do you? You've moved, correct?
No, I still live in Texas during the winter time, but I've moved for this year up to Ankeny, Iowa, where the TKS Motorsports team is, and kind of where our home base is for the year.
You don't want to be in this part of the country if you're from Texas when the winter rolls around. So that's why I think everyone around here would say, what does the weekday look like? If Chase Randall's not at the racetrack, we see you at the track, we know you as that. Outside of that, what does life look like for you?
For me, it's really hands-on in the shop every day. I'm a really, really big part of this team. In the shop and everything like that, working alongside Joe, our crew guys, to get all the cars ready and perform at that top level. Because I think being able to be in the shop, working hands-on, helps me learn a lot about the cars and what it's like, and it helps me on the racetrack what I need to feel. And stuff like that, talking with Troy a lot during that week, and coming up with a good game plan for what we need that weekend, and it really shows on the racetrack. I think the past couple of months, the improvements I've made, small or big, to help out a lot.
Is it difficult when you transition to a new team, teaming up with Troy and Tammy this year? Is that a difficult transition?
It is in some spots, but other parts it's pretty easy because I was able to race with them a lot last year at Knoxville, and kind of got a lot of the baselines down and kind of what each person likes on the team, and kind of got to know everybody really well. But this year it's been a little different because now I'm with them every day, and we're not able to have my dad there or other crew to be a part of that. So it's a little bit different team-wise because now I'm with them every week and every race. But it's been a lot of learning and stuff like that. But I think the racing part of it's been the exact same for me. All of our cars are the exact same. A lot of the equipment's the same, so for me it's been pretty easy to get a bear of things, but other than that, it's kind of just putting all together. But I think we're really close.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. We'd love to have you full time with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series in 2025. I think you'd be a great Rookie of the Year contender. Have you and the team? Have you thought about that?
Yes, definitely. It's been a lot of talk, but kind of where we want to go and where my future plans are. Because as a driver, I see myself full time. When I first started sprint car racing, it was always, I wanted to be an Outlaw champion because that's where the huge prestige with the series and everything like that. And with this past year, with everything kind of going on, we're have a little bit of discussions and whatnot like that. But for me as a driver, I think the Outlaws will be a huge opportunity and a huge goal for me.
For so long, any young race car driver, I feel like for whatever reason, the automatic goal destination was to go to NASCAR. We kept hearing the next Jeff Gordon, the next Jimmy Johnson. One day I want to race in NASCAR. And I feel like with the rise of dirt racing, that's kind of changing a little bit. Nobody really, there's still some that do, and NASCAR is great, but I don't feel like as many young drivers dream of going to NASCAR anymore. Would you agree? Do you feel like more people kind of like yourself are like, I want to grow up, I want to be an outlaw, I want to be a big-time sprint car driver? Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree completely. When I first started racing as a younger kid and watching, NASCAR, all the time, that was kind of my end goal. I feel like was want to be a NASCAR because I saw all those guys, and they were my young heroes as a kid. And then when I first got into dirt introduced to the Outlaws and saw a lot of sprint car racing, it definitely changed, because that's kind of where my heart kind of went. And I love what I do, racing sprint cars, and I think the Outlaws are obviously the top level of that, and it's definitely kind of where I want to be, I feel like.
Couple years into your career, but you've run the big shows. You've run Knoxville. You've run here last year. What's the goal coming into a big 4-day show like this with such a stout field of more than 50 of the best of the best?
The goal is to win. I mean, I don't show up to any race without that intention, and I think that's what makes me drive or kind of the drive for me, make it so hard, because I want to win, each time I hit the track, and whatever race it is. And that's always my goal, and nothing's going to change that.
I love that. That's a racer mentality right there. Getting set to go, 100,000 tomorrow night, 250,000 on Saturday. What would that mean to you? Your goal is to win it. What would it mean?
I don't really know. I mean, it would mean everything. It'd be the biggest one I've obviously ever had, but it's an insane amount of money for me as a 19-year-old. But I think just winning the race would be even more.
Buddy Kofoid told me earlier today that if he wins the 250,000, he's buying a new car. What are you buying?
Oh man, that would be probably a good idea for me, but I'd probably want to save a little. I feel like I'm a little smart with my money. Try to be. I would save a little bit, but getting to buy a few things I'd want here and there for sure.
For sure.
Didn't you hear him though? He said just winning the race would be enough. He's going to send the check to us.
It sounds great. We'll definitely take it. I want to ask you the same thing that I asked Landon Crawley. As a young sprint car driver that's aspiring, and you already have competed in some of the biggest events in sprint car racing, like the Knoxville Nationals and stuff like that, but do you look at events and races like Huset's, Knoxville, Eldora, and think, okay, these are the races that I want to go and run because these are the races that are going to make me elite?
Yes, I definitely think so, just because obviously the best of the best guys here. We have almost, I think, 55 entries here tonight, and it's the best guys in the entire country, and these events are becoming, top level. You think of Knoxville, the Kings Royal, and Huset's is really growing it, and I think has the potential to be up at the very, very top, I feel like. And I think it's really close, and these events are huge, I feel like, and it really makes you, I think once you be here and you can perform really well, say here or Knoxville, it makes you a better driver because you're racing with those best guys.
You grew up in Texas, still go there in the winter, but I mean, it's obviously sprint car racing is what's brought you to the Midwest. What makes you feel at home in this part of the country?
I think just, being around the right people. I feel like I've had a lot of, great people around us, and makes me feel like home, and I'm always welcome anywhere I go, because I don't really feel like I'm just out, just for a little, for here and there. I'm there to stay, and these people, keep me around, and I think that's kind of what I like most about it, just the good people around here.
When you come here to Huset's, we talked earlier about fan interaction at the end of the night. How about you with the fans here at this racetrack? I think they really took a liking to you here last season.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things that I like about coming here and other tracks, that the fans are just so nice here. They always come up after the races, no matter if you do good or bad, and the kids love to see you, and always sign hero cars, and always want to buy T-shirts after the races, and the fans really show their support and make the drivers feel welcome and want to come back, and I think that's one of the best things about it.
Are there any veteran drivers in the field that you talk to a lot or lean on? I mean, I know there's a lot of young drivers in the sport these days, guys like you and Landon Crawley and Ryan Timms, and a lot of them that you've raced with, but are there veteran guys, older guys that you don't necessarily, go to for advice, but that you do kind of lean on a little bit in the pits?
Yeah, one guy I talk to a lot about just stuff, if I have any questions, is Rico. He's always welcome, and anything, that I kind of feel like I need to know, or if I have any questions or anything like that, he's always, open to anything I ask him, and he'll give me a good, solid answer.
And how good of an ambassador is Rico for the sport? He's got to be one of the best, right?
Yeah, I think he's huge for the things he's done, just for himself to grow, his team and his operation, especially for the fans as well. He's always a well-liked guy, and I think that's what makes it so easy to ask him anything like that.
That's just about going to wrap it up here from the Stage Fruit stage for Race Day Live, presented by Dirt Vision. Fans, how about it? The quickest chicken, Chase Randall, getting set to go here for 4 nights at Houston Speedway. There's a lot of people here already.
Oh yeah, a lot of people in the pit area, a lot of people are out here walking around Vendor Row. If you're anywhere near Sioux Falls, South Dakota, get to Houston Speedway because it is going to be a fun week. $100,000 on the line tomorrow night, $250,000 on the line Saturday night. Chase is going to be on the track. Shawn Neisteadt will be in the booth with John Gibson. I'll be roaming the pits, but for now we've got plenty of more pre-race coverage coming to you live on Dirt Vision. So we'll send things off to the Milton Hershey School studio in Concord, North Carolina, and hear from our good friend Dave Reeves. See you at Houston's here in just a little bit.
No problem. Thank you.